The Elders are the Brotherhood of Steel's leaders. They lead chapters which are the main governing bodies of the Brotherhood forces in a certain area. Perhaps one of the most infamous of these elders is Elder Maxson. He is the leader of the Washington chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel and the detachment in Boston. He is the last of the Maxson lineage, the lineage that started the Brotherhood itself. Born in 2267, his father Jonathan Maxson was killed in battle outside of the NCR, and his mother passed away sometime after Arthur Maxson left, or Elder Maxson, with Elder Lyons. Arthur left to be under the tutelage of Owen Lyons. Speaking of Owen, after the death of Arthur's father, his mother sent him to the Citadel in Washington, D.C. because of the unsafe conditions due to the ongoing NCR Brotherhood War and the current internal conflicts.
I was sent to the Citadel many years ago to be fostered by Elder Lyons, but that was before the Western Elders lost faith in the Elder. I really don't know if I'll ever get home.
He traveled from the Lost Hills bunker in California to Washington, D.C. 2,702 miles away. But it is to be noted he was not involved with the Scourge due since it already happened. The Brotherhood were already at the Citadel on Arthur's way east. They likely avoided the pit altogether. The future Elder can be met as a squire in the Citadel's B-wing. He was taught well, knowing Brotherhood history intently. He also was trained in combat by Sarah Lyons, Owen's daughter, in his younger years.
He's taught me so much, but, well, I kind of like it here. Sentinel Lyons has been very kind to me.
He had trouble with the Codex and its protocols, due to his encounters with outsiders in the Citadel such as the Lone Wanderer, because the Codex deemed them untrustworthy.
My behavior offends, ma'am. We don't get many visitors in the Citadel. The brothers and Elder Lyons are excellent teachers, but I get nervous about the protocols. The Codex says that outsiders are not to be trusted. Shield yourself from those not bound to you by steel, for they are the blind. Aid them when you can, but lose not sight of yourself, it says. It's not simply the outsiders that we are wary of. Anybody who has...
At an early age he had tremendous expectations placed upon him, being the last in the Maxson line. After all, he was expected to be another great Maxson leader and likely to continue the Maxson lineage. They also said his soul was forged of eternal steel, however he never really believed that.
Oh, well, you see, I am descended from the great Roger Maxson, founder of our order. I am the last of his line. They say my soul was forged from eternal steel, but I don't believe that. I'm really just a normal boy.
Arthur was a lonely child in the Citadel. The only people there were the adults who thought of him as the next great leader, not just another kid, and robots, one of which is Liberty Prime. Oddly enough, he ended up befriending the Iron Giant of pre-war engineering. However, Scribe Rothschild ended up banning him from the laboratory. Prime was in to emphasize the futility of being friends with a machine, which may have influenced his look on robots in the future. He also snuck into the Lion's Den in the Citadel to read Paladin Vargas's copy of Guns and Bullets, since he wouldn't let the young squire have it otherwise. He as well has been cited drinking whiskey or beer in the Citadel. Due to this, he was a timid and had a reserved demeanor. This was exacerbated by him being barred from patrols or outings in his young years because he accidentally shoots Sarha during an outing they were on. However, Arthur's timidness and apprehension would help him keep a level of politeness and decency, which would then turn into charisma unmatched in the Brotherhood in his later years. By 2277 the Lions had died out, elder after elder trying and failing at becoming the elder of the Floundering chapter. In 2279, when Arthur was 12, during a training patrol, killed 2 raiders. Saving the patrol that was supposed to escort him, his Maxson fighting spirit had awakened. 1 year later he killed a Deathclaw single-handedly, however he took a disfiguring scar to the face. But this would not be his key achievement. His key achievement was killing the super mutant called Shepard, who was attempting to unite the remnants of the super mutant population in the capital. He did this at the ripe old age of 15, and luckily enough for him, it turns out even after the Washington chapter was cut off they were still monitoring the Washington chapter. The elders would promote him to provisional elder. You see, following Owen Lyons' arrival in the capital, he became fascinated with the super mutant threat in the capital. And instead of sending his troops to recover technology, he sent them to exterminate the super mutants. This would lead to him disobeying direct orders from the elders. This would lead to the elders in the West swiftly cutting off the Washington chapter. This would lead to some members becoming dissatisfied with Lyons' policy of protecting the inhabitants and the capital. They saw it as a waste of supplies and men that would lead to the downfall of the chapter. The situation would gradually worsen until in 2276 where Lyons repeatable denied requests to gather technology from Fort Independence. This would break the camel's back. Unsatisfied members would rally behind Paladin Henry Caston, taking a large part of the base's weapons and materials and leaving, forming the Outcasts. Since then they have been separate organizations. But with Arthur Maxson's incredible charisma and leadership and a change in policy, he would reunite the Outcasts in his chapter in 2283, proving himself a great warrior and diplomat. He would be opinionated as the High Elder of the entire Brotherhood of Steel. Ultimately, he would be the youngest Brotherhood Elder in known history. And with the Prydwen, the Brotherhood's flagship, the last operational airship they have named after King Arthur's ship of old. The Brotherhood is capable of striking anywhere in the East Coast and potentially even being able to be flown across the American wasteland to Lost Hills. By 2287 his reign in the capital was uncontested, with his authority and influence spreading with the help of the Prydwen, which was the rallier to his cause. He had the full support of the Western Brotherhood and was even worshipped by some as a deity, but this would lead to their eradication. Maxson was offended this went against his beliefs, content with being the perfect human specimen, an example of everything a human can achieve even if he might be assisted by technology. He is still human. He would grow the stragglers of a failing chapter to a major military power able to project itself across the eastern coast, much like the US of old across the world. During this part of Brotherhood history he would send a unnamed recon squad to scout the Commonwealth. They were successful, their unfortunate future counterparts recon squads Gladius and Artemis. Gladius would be attacked upon jumping off their vertibirds, having to self-destruct their power armor, and the rest were spread out and killed apart from Paladin Brandis, who hid in a bunker. As for Gladius, they would be more fortunate, facing similar resistance, losing 4 knights in these encounters but being able to secure a base of operations at the Cambridge police station. Sometime in 2287 the Brotherhood would receive a message from Recon Squad Gladius. They had detected a strange energy signature in Boston and they needed reinforcements to defeat this new existential threat. The Prydwen would take off from the capital, making its way to Boston, with Maxson on board, eventually arriving and setting up a foothold at the Boston airport. Making a speech showing his charisma and his reason for this expedition to the Commonwealth.
The road behind has been long and fraught with difficulty. Each and every one of you has surpassed my expectations by rapidly facilitating our arrival in the Commonwealth. You have accomplished this amazing feat without a hint of purpose or direction, and most impressively, without question. Now that the ship is in position, it is time to reveal our purpose. And beneath the Commonwealth, there is a cancer, known as the Institute. A malignant growth that needs to be cut before it infects the surface. They are experimenting with dangerous technologies that could prove to be the world's undoing for the second time in recent history. The Institute scientists have created a weapon that transcends the destructive nature of the atom bomb. They call their creation the Synth, a robotic abomination of technology that is free-thinking and masquerades as a human being. This notion that a machine could be granted free will is not only offensive, but horribly dangerous. And like the atom, if it isn't harnessed properly, it has the potential of rendering us extinct as a species. I am not prepared to allow the Institute to continue this line of experimentation. Therefore, the Institute and their synths are considered enemies of the Brotherhood of Steel, and should be dealt with swiftly and mercilessly. This campaign will be costly, and many lives will be lost. But in the end, we will be saving humankind from its worst enemy, itself.
He would launch a war against the Institute and synths, but we do not know definitely what happened to Maxson after this and his detachment. Rumors are some sole survivor helps them win, or maybe they die by the hands of a Institute, Railroad, or the Minutemen. In summary, Elder Maxson is the High Elder of the Brotherhood of Steel on the East Coast, once a timid boy to a waking dragon, and finally leading his chapter ad victoriam, or to victory.